And it's, of course, going to be coastline if you missed the ban phase. Soniqs will be starting on defense. DarkZero will be starting on attack. And we'll go ahead and get right into the bans.
Now, one thing to remind everybody at home that's going to be tuning in is that both Ace and Malusi are out of quarantine. So they are perfectly capable operators now. Zero is in. He's quarantined. No Sam Fisher for us. And, well, you might as well put them back in quarantine because we're not going to have any Ace today. Now, Ace up their sleeves. Soniqs' first ban is going to be the new Hard Breacher. A Jackal ban is going to follow up. And Jackal on coastline can fulfill a role similar to what we see out of possibly a Nomad, a Yana, a Capitao, etc. in terms of where they get banned in the rigmarole. DarkZero doesn't like Vigil. That's taking one of the powerful operators away from the Soniqs. The question now, does Soniqs, do they ban out Malusi? That's the question. And no, they take out Valkyrie. So we will get to see, over the course of this map at least, Malusi in play should teams want to use her. I'm very interested in regards to the Ace Jackal combo because it's going to leave Thatcher up. Hibana is also going to be in play as well. So lots of options here for the attackers.
With the Hibana, she might be a consistent pick, but it's also worth considering that there's a lot of sites on coastline that don't actually need hard destruction at all. Where it can be useful, often you might be better served bringing some excess soft destruction, bringing some explosives. That's really the meta we find ourselves in right now. You'll note that every single operator on the attacking lineup contributes something to clearing out Jaegers, ADSs, or potential Wamai magnets, and something to... and then if they're not contributing that, they're contributing to the explosives. Now, the Hibana was brought, 6 picked into... So that is going to be an option. The hard destruction will play into this. And I think that was specifically because the Mira is left unbanned. In this instance, the most useful thing you can do with Hibana Excaros is get rid of those Mira windows. So we're going to have the Mira windows placed inside of stock. It looks like there will be some light roaming upstairs. Lots of soft destruction on the attacking side, likely to be used in the floor. It'll probably be a top clear here, given the lineup and the current bomb site. Plenty of C4, though, to potentially make that difficult on the Sonic side. They've got 2 sets.
We also, we're going to be operating with the new Spectator as well, Michael. So the Spectator system has had some overhauls that will be shown off. And there you go, right on your screen. Bottom of your screen, it is the individual operator card. So you don't need to look left or right to see which operator is currently on your screen.
Much cleaner.
It's a nice change, a very welcome change, I would say.
Now, that's curious. Easily opens up below the mirror window in front of it. Now, what that's going to allow easily to do is shoot off Hibana Excaros as they try to break the mirror window. That's very clever.
DarkZero's take is going to be up top. A minute in so far, and one of the things that I really liked, and we really liked, and we talked about often actually, was the fact that DZ had a lot of tools at their disposal, and there was nobody who really failed to contribute on that run through the major. We're going to see if they can replicate that with every single member of this team stepping up at one point or another. Super shaken off of his position from above is really going to be the first skirmish, and well, he gets taken out by Eclipse inside of luggage. He guns down 2 separate members as Gomfy was there for backup, and nobody from Soniqs is able to stop the buck right now.
There, as the transition was caught by DarkZero, and that's a really textbook cutoff by Eclipse, and I mean a really simple plan, well executed for DZ. Now, there's only a minute left for DarkZero to execute onto the bomb site, but that's plenty of time when you've got this top-down control. So they're going to be getting soft destruction right above the site to try and exert some pressure onto the defenders. DarkZero have the driver's seat right now, Soniqs are going to have to fight to regain control. They do not have any C4, so direct confrontation is the play here, or so Iconic seems to think. He'll lose out in that confrontation, though, and Eclipse will finish him off. Easily and Sleb in the last two defenders, and they're trying to stop the onslaught in the last 22 seconds. If they can deny the plant, they might see success, but that's not looking very likely right now. The gas canister is not enough to do just that. DarkZero will get the first round, and a flawless one at that.
It was quite the sight to behold from Eclipse from above. And honestly, once you lose control of that second floor, with as much as they had invested into it from the Soniqs, I feel like Gomfi's inability to catch Eclipse inside of luggage was where everything started to unravel, because you can kill about a minute and a half, give or take, of the clock, as Super did. And even if you give up your life, it's not the end of the world. It's a 4v5 on site. The buck is going to be above. You know that you're going to have that presence looming over top of you. But the greater concern, obviously, was that after they lost Gomfi, there was nobody that could have late rotated up top. There's nobody who could have played off of main lobby as aggressively without sacrificing some piece of your team elsewhere, leaving easily on the bomb site as really the lone hope towards the tail end of that round. And I mean, Smokes can do magical things, and they have many times before, easily in particular, but against a DZ team that through one round so far seems to be working as well as they did during the major. And obviously it's way too premature to say definitively. Soniqs really had no chance to bounce back.
I'd
after
say
that push.
the biggest problem was, of course, the top clear. That was, well, it was very difficult for the Soniqs to work around that. Now, they're going to try going to kitchen once more, and once more, they're going to bring this upstairs hold. But the key difference here is that they're going to put a bandit battery on the mirror window upstairs. So Soniqs only got half the round out of the top floor roam last round. This time they're going to try and waste even more time. Missed C4 there from Iconic. He did not time that correctly. I would have thought he would wait for the footsteps above him, but triggered it based off the barricade breaking. Unfortunate there for Iconic. So this mirror window likely to be more durable, as the Habana Excaros are unlikely to destroy it, but there is no Habana. So a key difference for Soniqs, countered by a change from DZ as well. They'll be bringing a set of nades that can be useful in dislodging anyone playing on a mirror window. DZ keeps their toolkit ever changing.
The Sledge could be an operator as well that functions in a very similar way to what we see out of Eclipse's Buck. I mean, both of those operators tend to be very close in regards to the way that they're applied on this map, though we do see Sledges on certain teams' lineups tend to be a bit more aggressive. Skies is going for a plant as we're talking about this by the A bomb site, and nobody from the Soniqs is any the wiser. What? He gets in the window, gets the diffuser down, and he's gone like a gust in the wind. So this is tough for the Soniqs. They'll immediately start on it and hope that there's some coverage going, and there it is indeed. Hot and Cold with 2 kills from above, continuing his hot streak, punishing all of the Soniqs as they're all down for the count except for Easily in a 1v4. Diffuser at about the halfway mark, and his task of holding this together is going to be quite tough. Takes out Mint, but still has 3 more to find. Diffuser very narrowly at the point of no return, and I can't see him even being able to get towards the kitchen window in time, even if he wanted to. Hot and Cold ends any chance of the Soniqs coming back, and that'll be the second round in a row for DarkZero.
That was really unfortunate. Easily with 3 gas canisters in the pocket. Must have been a misinformation situation there on the defense. Easily, obviously, had he known the plant was going down, would have been throwing out his gas canisters, attempting to stop it. But maybe it was all that was happening elsewhere. The sound profiles and just the clash, the cacophony of information in team comms, preventing Easily from being aware of that plant going down. And the Soniqs, none the wiser, well, having to work in the post plant to regain their own site and disable that diffuser. Didn't happen. DZ a completely different strategy that round. They keep the punches rolling, and they keep them coming from where Soniqs are not guarding.
After 2 attempts at the same bomb site, they're deciding to swap it up. And I like this. I like that they're going to go to the double bars. Given the way that we saw Super play that mirror in the very first round, I wouldn't be too surprised if they do invest in hookah above. And I mean, a lot of teams, when investing in any real defense of this bomb site, will want to hold the area directly above it, as is being shown on your screen at the moment. Obviously, teams are going to want to clear from the top down, and 2 rounds in, DarkZero have been excellent at taking control of that second floor, pushing off the members of the Soniqs, either by taking their lives or letting them roam free after that. Usually it's the former. In this case, as I say all that, the Soniqs are going to expand the bomb site out towards the kitchen. And they're going to try to hold the main lobby, and they're going to try to hold delivery, given what we see out of the barbed wire, given what we see out of the Mira setup. So if you're DarkZero and you decide to push the A bomb site, the Soniqs are going to have to return fire from either the B bomb site or the kitchen.
We'll see if that cutoff actually happens. I mean, the blitz is what I'm most curious about in this round. It's a really different pick. Now, blitz, of course, Mint is the blitz guy. So, I mean, if it's going to be anyone, it would be Mint. He's had a lot of big moments on blitz, pardon me, throughout Siege's professional history. But it's still always weird to see, because you just don't, well, it doesn't happen very often that someone picks blitz. So where that blitz is applied is going to change a lot of how this round plays out.
Once again, attacking from the top is we're going to see the ever so familiar Buck of Eclipse. He and Hot and Cold, all but 1 kill so far for DarkZero through these 2 rounds. And of course, the day is still very young. So I suspect we'll begin to see the rest of this team catch up.
Yeah.
That blitz that you had talked about of Mint is positioned at the top of Cool Vibe stairs. He's got a date with the Maestro of Iconic down below, and there's a Melusi Banshee in his way as well that will slow him ever so slightly. They managed to shove the Maestro off of the position, but the play from DZ is actually towards the bomb site, and Mint might be going to pressure easily. At the moment, the blitz will be stopped by a toxic canister thrown down, and there's only 1 minute left for DZ to make something work.
That gas canister was a little early, but he used it because he could hear the trunk of the Mint blitz coming. He's going to use another one soon, but blitz is already in, and Mint will secure the kill in the corner. Gonfi does get skies, but above, Eclipse manages to get Sleben at vertical pressure, working out very well. Gas will dissipate, allowing Mint a safer position in the corner, but he can't plant because of the Maestro. He'll get on boost spot behind the bomb, and he's going to start that plant now. Here is the call. Iconic swings and lands the shots. The vertical cover not working for DZ this time. But it might not be enough, as Iconic is now the last defender alive against 3 attackers. He only has to stay alive for 15 seconds, and he has the diffuser, so this is winnable, especially with the Alda. He'll get none, though, as Hot and Cold cleans that round up.
I was going to fault the coverage that we saw onto Iconic, but I guess it didn't really matter. They killed everybody else around him, and then the Maestro was left alive. And while the objective for the Soniqs was to shut down that plant, and Iconic did his job perfectly, the rest of his team did not win a single 1v1 from that point forward. And, well, Iconic was swinging inside of the bomb site and just basically waiting. There's 20 seconds left in a 3v1 favoring DarkZero. We've seen Maestros be able to pull things off with that much time on the clock before, but not with the way that DZ is playing, not with the top floor control that they had, not with all of that floor/ceiling inside of Sunrise Bar torn to pieces. I don't think there was any world in which Iconic could have possibly hoped to emerge alive. So 3 in a row for DarkZero, and their objective play has honestly been quite fantastic for this team. Starting on attack, on coastline, on what is a defender-sided meta at the moment, and a utility soak 20-second meta that we like to refer to it as, where the attackers need to bring as many explosives and as much soft destruction as possible. The Soniqs just have not looked very comfortable. They have not looked like they can read DarkZero. They are conceding gunfights. They are not returning fire. And I mean, we got to see it through 3 rounds so far, Michael. There have been a number of times where it looks like the Soniqs are being caught off guard by DZ's positioning, and a lot of them are dying with their backs turned to DarkZero.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I mean, the last round, if we're talking about backs being turned, Mint did a great job as a distraction effort. It seemed like the Soniqs' main, or sorry, the DarkZero's main plan was to get the plant, right? But they sent Mint on a solo mission. He didn't even have one gun supporting him from Mudroom. It was all Mint in the corner trying to plant by himself. And what did that do? Well, it effectively distracted Iconic and many of the other Soniqs. Early engagement here, and it's going to be a win for Sleben as he just gets more aggressive. Clips trying to open up the wall, thinking that Sleben would reposition deeper into bathroom. That is not the case. Now, DarkZero, 1 man down, and Sleben has taken a little bit of damage, but he will continue to roam.
What we need to see, and I know, I'm going to do my best Veli impression right now.
Okay.
What we need to see is we need to see Sleben and Gomfy step up huge here. That's my Veli impression. Well, Sleben's not going to be able to step up. He's not even going to be able to stand up. Just stay right where you are. He gets punished by the Zofia of Hyper, who enters so confidently through service. That quick action has really masked how little of the clock is gone. There's still over half of the round left to play with. And I mean, yeah, you lose Eclipse. He's pretty important, especially on a bomb site like Hookah, but it's not the end of the world. And you've been able to take out one of the most formidable players from the Soniqs when he gets going in Sleben. I know it's not exactly a trade, but I'm pretty happy if I'm DarkZero right now.
Yeah, that's a much quicker response to an early kill by a roamer than I'm used to seeing. Typically, you would see that roamer go on to waste a little bit more time. But a part of that has to do with how Sleben handled his positioning. He stayed in bathroom, or sorry, in service entrance way longer than he ought to. Near bathroom, but not quite. Now, moving forward in the round, DarkZero, once again, little bit of trouble here when it comes to time. We're getting down to the last 50 seconds. They haven't made any headway on the site itself. They've got some decent established angles, but they are not able to execute just yet. And the Wub Wub on Cool Vibes, a little bit of slowdown, but Skies gets it quite quickly, actually.
Right now, favoring DarkZero in terms of numbers, Michael. Easily and Super will have to try to hold this one off. I can't say I envy Easily, who's now gone from the map. 30 seconds to go, and Super will follow him very shortly after, with DarkZero taking a commanding lead. They've had the lead the whole game, with the exception of the first 3 minutes. But now it's 4-0. They will decisively win this first half. These are good numbers for Coastline. Right now, there is no real trouble with DarkZero in terms of their entry. There is no real trouble on DarkZero's side of things with being able to balance the utility that's being brought from the Soniqs. And the Soniqs are bringing Melusi every round. There was a lot of chatter and a lot of criticism towards Melusi and the fact that she has 3 bulletproof gadgets and she would only exacerbate what is already a very utility soak heavy meta. Well, obviously, not proving to be much of a problem for DarkZero right now. They're going to continue to look to run up the score. The question is whether they'll be able to pull that off, as the Soniqs will head in round number 5 right back to the bomb site they just lost, Hookah.
It's been an interesting run so far. The cutoffs from DarkZero have been excellent, and I think have been well and truly countering the play from Soniqs. There's also some curious utility placement. For example, that Melusi gadget we saw on Cool Vibe stairs was placed far too low to be effective. Ash was able to break that and walk away unscathed. Typically, you want to put it somewhere that is covered by a defender so that it can delay for a longer period. But placed at the bottom, absolute bottom of Cool Vibe stairs, it accomplished very little. It's going to be, I think, I want to say a little bit higher this time, which is good, but not quite as high as it could be. Now, either way, it's a small thing. Soniqs can recover from that if they take their gunfights, and if they have more successful roams like the one we saw from Sleben in the last round. Even if it was still a win for DarkZero. Those are building blocks to potential round wins.
This is going to continue onward, or I'm going to continue onward, talking about the inability for the Soniqs so far to find any real offensive firepower. They have a combined 6 kills over 4 rounds right now. That is nowhere near good enough. It doesn't matter if you're losing rounds or not. This is your map. You are starting on defense. It is not that one-sided that you only get 6 kills over 4 rounds. Yeah, Coastline is an attacker-sided map. Cool. They need to be doing better than this. Now, I don't know if it's a failure to figure out the strategy of DarkZero or not. DZ are and have been very creative with their entries. We saw that in the mini major. It's a big part of why they took it out as effortlessly as they did. But right now, the Soniqs just seem to be perplexed, and whether they simply aren't warmed up, whether they're just not feeling confident, whether the change in meta has put them in a position right now where they're not able to land their shots. I don't know. I'm not going to try to diagnose this just yet. But even if you're losing these rounds, you have to find something when it comes to the scoreboard, and the Soniqs just aren't doing it right now.
You could see that Soniqs are really scrunched up together here on the bomb site, and a big part of that is because their roamers have been forced back, if they even had them in the first place. Now, this is due to DarkZero clearing out the entire map before going for their site execution, and doing a very thorough job of it. That's what's been going on for the last 2 minutes in this round. Now DarkZero has cleared out those roamers. They've force them back to the bomb site, except for Super, who's playing directly below. He might have just dropped, actually. And they're going to be able to start their attack onto the site. Now, worth noting is there is no IQ, and there is an Echo in play. So those yokai drones could be a huge hassle when we come down to the dying seconds of this round, assuming they're not found by DarkZero earlier in the round. That's going to be a very close thing. This guy's going for the plant, though, very early.
The Ashe sacrificing her life halfway through. You're going to need a clip of smoke, and Skies might actually be able to just hold this one through. He does. Unfortunate team kill from Hyper, not able to land enough damage onto Gomfy, but Hot and Cold is there to avenge him. Diffuser goes down successfully. Iconic trades 90% of his HP for a kill onto Eclipse. Down goes Hot and Cold. Hyper will try to hold things off in Aquarium, and he'll do a great job. It's all in the hands of Mint. The Blitz isn't exactly an operator that you want to engage in a 1v1 situation, and he's not even going to win his fight against Sleb. And the guns come alive for Soniqs. They find their very first round, and I bet just a bit of elation goes through this team. They managed to get the diffuser after punishing every member of DarkZero, and almost the polar opposite of what I said, Michael. They can't win their gunfights to save their lives, and then they win basically all but one gunfight, which Hyper won, and the Soniqs take the round with it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it did look pretty good there for DarkZero, honestly. The post plant was lined up well. The hold was solid. I thought that DZ would take that, and I was about to give praise to the fact that DarkZero realized they could just stick a plant, regardless of all of the anti-plant utility, the yokai drones, the evil eyes, the gas canisters, the C4. Regardless of all of that, DZ saw an opportunity, seized upon it. And yeah, had DarkZero won their gunfights, that would have been a really well-executed round. But the Soniqs did one better. And for the first time in this map, that's the type of Soniqs that we need to see moving forward if they want to have a hope in taking Coastline. If they can shave off, and by they I mean the Soniqs, one more round on this first half, they're actually in a decent position. But a 5-1 is still a very hard task to, or I guess a very hard score to counter when you go into the second half.
Run up that score is obviously going to be DZ's biggest focus here. I mean, I'd be content with a 4-2 score line, as a lot of teams are, especially on Coastline. You've already accomplished through the first 4 rounds what you usually try to do through 6. You got those 2 rounds as whether you want to experiment or whether you just want to relax and just vibe by the pool, Michael, you know.
Leisurely cruise to the win.
You can cruise to the win. It's fine. But this is already, and obviously we still have much more to go. There's 2 more maps to be played. This is already a much better performance from DarkZero than we ever saw in the original match against them and the Soniqs. So kudos and hats off to DZ, who seemed to have righted the ship after that scare. And I do think to a certain extent Jesse is right when he says that, well, it was Sonic's series to lose. Yeah, I mean, I would probably agree with the way these 2 teams played. It was DarkZero's major to lose, and they clobbered everybody, and they are proving that it wasn't a fluke, Veli.
Well, I mean, so far they have proven that, yes. This DZ is the type of DZ that we saw during the major, and it's been an impressive performance thus far. If they keep that up, then fantastic. You know, it depends on the scale, really, whether you're going to be impressed by DarkZero's performance. I guess the time period you're looking at. Now, Habana has already done massive work getting rid of a major obstacle. The mirror window facing towards the blue bar. Good job there by Skies. Gomfi has been downed in the main lobby by whatever, but downed regardless. Sleben is going to go try to pick him up and actually will be successful. So one more gun on the board here. DZ, though, getting ready to go for the plant. A missed gas canister might actually be pretty bad, but DZ doesn't seize upon the opportunity. They let it slide. They know they can continue to wait out the clock, given that they've got a minute left in the round. There's no way all those gas canisters are going to be able to deny the plant. Hot and cold, first pick onto Gomfi, and he'll do so on the platform above Garden. Hyper gets a pick on easily in the site. That's going to force Iconic to reposition, but he'll be able to get one nice shot before being refragged immediately. Super elsewhere will take down Hotten, and it's going to be just Super now, who gets absolutely gunned down by Hyper with the pistol, no less. DZ, the aggression through blue bar, working out great.
I really like the way that DZ entered there. They split their forces, putting some inside a main lobby, anchoring down inside of office, and then waiting to see if somebody was going to commit a mistake. And Hyper showing great patience on the doorway to bait out easily, knowing that the gas canister was going to come, and easily hadn't bothered to move from his spot inside of Sunrise Bar. That forces Iconic to take up the mantle of the smoke. But at that point, you've also been discovered. And while you get a single kill, you're caught as you're moving, and Hyper picks up kill number 2 before marching in and taking control of Sunrise, which is ultimately where he then kills Super. I liked that the Soniqs got a little bit loose with their roam in hopes of stalling out DZ. Through those 6 rounds now, as we switch sides and DarkZero goes on to defense, and the Soniqs will have to muster something better than they have on defense, on attack. Soniqs made a couple changes. They changed up the way that they were holding their spots. They still committed to that kitchen-style off-site roam play. That was fine. But unfortunately, the Jaeger gets caught out by a Nomad. Nomad is a very strong operator on this map because you can rotate back to almost every single bomb site on that first floor by the skylight in 5 seconds flat. But an air jab will cover a lot of area, and if you don't hear it or you don't see it, you're going to get pounced upon. That's ultimately where DarkZero started things. It forced the Soniqs to have to fall off of kitchen and try to get back to the bomb site because they could count that there were 3 members of DarkZero lined up in office, Hyper, Mint, and Skies. Well, you know right now that there's 3 of them waiting to try to pull off and execute. You've already missed a smoke. You're going to try to go for it again. You're probably going to be punished for it. And that's what ends up happening. So hats off to DarkZero for that first half, obviously showing that some of that hot streak and poise that they had from the major was by no means just a good weekend. They've learned their lessons against the Soniqs, and they are putting them to good use.
I really liked the extension into the kitchen by the Soniqs in that blue bar hold. It wasn't just your typical one. They went all the way into storage and tried to control main lobby with that mirror window. I really got to appreciate Sonic's effort there. Now, the question is, can they change their fortune here on the attacking half? Now, Billiards is the first site defended here from DarkZero, and the first kill will go to the Soniqs, but not too swiftly will it turn into further engagements, actually. I'm kind of surprised by how quickly these are coming out, and no one's letting go of the other. DarkZero keeping this at an even man count, refusing to let the Soniqs have the man advantage, and that is regardless, or I guess despite Lion with the E1Ds forcing DZ to stand still every few seconds.
Hyper knows the positioning of somebody from the Soniqs outside, and he just misses, goes for a second, could have very easily been punished for that. He'll instead fall off and let the Ash of Gomfi go somewhere else. Iconic has retrieved the diffuser for the Soniqs with half of the round to go, but Skies takes a big gamble. He finds Iconic. Hyper finished off by Super on that Lion, but Super and Gomfi both so low on HP. They'll have to tussle with Mint and Skies now as it's a 2v2. Match point for DarkZero if they end up persevering on this one. And, well, just basing on the map control that DZ still holds, Skies in sight, Mint covering over by 90, and the fact that the Soniqs don't have very much HP to deal with, this is an extreme advantage for DarkZero.
It's certainly looking like the Soniqs will be able to lock, or rather, that DarkZero will be able to lock this round out. Gonfi, though, is trying to prove otherwise. He knows where Skies is, and he's trying to get the angle, but he's unable to get that fight going in his favor. 40 seconds left, and it'll be, looks like, maybe a VIP Aqua split? Supers by VIP. He doesn't have time to relocate at this point. He's committed to this push. Gonfi trying to push into Aqua. You've got one defender by 90. That's going to stop Super, but he looks the wrong way. Mint gives away a free kill, and now it's all on the shoulders of Skies to win 2 1v1s. He won't even win the first, though, as Gonfi actually trades with himself getting downed, and the headshot landed. If Gonfi hadn't landed his first bullet on the head, Gonfi would have just lost that fight. Beautiful retake there from Soniqs, and a huge win that they definitely needed.
The Soniqs are going to continue to use Lion through most rounds on Coastline if history is any indicator, and I suspect that's why you're going to see as much Mute play from DarkZero. I mean, Mute is a strong operator. Nobody's going to deny that, and a Mute or a Smoke, they're almost always a requirement because their shotgun is not just good in terms of killing potential, but more importantly, you're going to need it for that site construction work, or deconstruction, I guess you could call it.
Either way works.
Either way works. So whether you have a Smoke or whether you have a Mute, it doesn't matter. Obviously, when a Lion is going to perpetually be on the board, as we should expect with the Soniqs. Obviously, they can change that up, but if history's any indicator, Super is going to run that Lion every single round. The Mute jammers are going to become very crucial, not just in terms of gadget denial, but in terms of intel denial. And I mean, DarkZero have proven that they can hold very aggressively off-site and do a successful job, even though they misplayed the end of that round by both Mint and Skies losing their fights. I suspect that those Mute jammers are likely going to go for the players that are going to be on site and allow them a little bit more freedom and just hope and trust that the roamers can fight off any challenge they get from the Soniqs, because the Soniqs still haven't really woken up here in terms of fragging potential, but they've only had one round on attack so far, and it wasn't too bad. So,
well, in recent history, DarkZero hasn't been very good at winning on Coastline, at least on the defensive side, specifically, actually. And they haven't gone to Penthouse. So this is a new thing for them. With Mira in play, I guess I can understand it. It's a bit of a throwback to have Mira be the key to going to Penthouse, but here we are. I'm curious to see if it's going to work out for DarkZero. These kinds of, this kind of site selection is always a little bit weird, and not necessarily going to give you a consistent result. Jaeger gets droned out there in Kitchen Hall, and Hyper's going to have to relocate off of that. Super will call that out to the rest of his team. Well, the Soniqs are set up to take VIP, Hall of Fame, and the bathroom upstairs, and then launch their attack onto the B-bomb site, as is typical for this site. DZ is counting on a little bit of confusion from the Soniqs, and a little bit of lack of practice, because this site doesn't get selected very often.
if DZ needs to head downstairs, you can see that many of the default plant spots, or at least the road to the default plant spots, have been blown open, which will allow a counterpunch to be made and you to hold off on the objective play if the Soniqs attempt it as much as we saw DZ attempt it. As we hit the halfway mark of round number 8, nobody has sacrificed even a single point of HP except for Skies, and he'll trade it out for Slevin, so it works out quite effectively. He knows he's got another over by Hall of Fame, and the Yana is positioned and waiting. Skies punished as he loses his mirror window, and then his life as Iconic is the one to do that. A second kill from the Soniqs pops up on the scoreboard. Down goes Hot and Cold, and they're buried inside of the bomb site. A bomb site right now is quite a bit exploitable, I would say, until Eclipse makes his way over there and Mint gets from luggage to protect it as well. So right now, DarkZero coalescing around the bomb site with Hyper just playing a little bit off of it. 45 seconds left to go. A Lion charge will go off. That's the very first one from the Soniqs. So they're very smartly using them for likely the execute and then the post plant, providing they get that far.
Iconic gets his second big kill as he entries, but Mint will shut him down with another for him. Beautiful job by Mint. Now, Super's trying to come up from White Stairs, and as Hyper gets eliminated out by VIP Hall, it's all on Mint. He's going to have to drop a quad to win this round. Now, 20 seconds remain. The attack does not have Diffuser. Super on big window repel. EE1D perfectly timed, allowing him to repel in, and the pre-fire as well, but there's a C4 to deny. We're going to have to see Gomfi shoot this midair. And he will. He gets it. So the plant goes down. Mint gets his triple kill. And he times the peak perfectly.
Whoa!
A super eliminated Mint with the quad kill. And DZ will take the round.
Goodness gracious. So well played by Gomfi, by the way. The Soniqs played that almost perfectly. They knew exactly what was going to happen, and yet Mint was still inches better. Pre-firing onto the Lion, taking Gomfi down. Goodness gracious, what a play and a recovery from DarkZero, and with it, they take the round, and they're on match point. Now, this is not the old system for those that have maybe skipped an entire stage of this gameplay. There is overtime. Some team needs to win. DarkZero right now in a very commanding position to do so, and they're going to keep on defense for the remainder unless we need overtime. And they win a penthouse defense, which is quite a rarity. Even just seeing that bomb site alone is very rare. DarkZero will go back towards a typically safer bomb site for the defense in a hookah.
That was a really big win there for Mint. He is the clutch master sometimes. He seems to be pulling through here today. Well, having taken that round, it seems all but certain DarkZero will take this map by extension. This has been a much better defensive half than DarkZero is used to on this map. And that is another big up for them. Certainly been learning quite a lot, it seems, from their past experience. Now, so far, DarkZero have looked pretty unshakable. There have been some minor mistakes that have been, I'd say, exploited by the Soniqs. But really, that's the story, isn't it? Minor mistakes exploited. Nothing major, nothing seemingly glaringly bad about DarkZero's playstyle so far. And it's been just as solid as as I think many people had hoped based on the major performance.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that DarkZero has been playing over the last month, Michael, they're hotter than a gender reveal party right now, so...
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And you know I'm right, too.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible, actually. The air out here is disgusting. It's like we never left. And you'll know what I mean by that.
I do know what you mean. But...
Yep.
With that said, DarkZero obviously proving the doubters wrong, proving Veli wrong. I'm just going to continue to suck up to DarkZero until Zach follows me on Twitter. That's basically my goal today.
He doesn't follow you on Twitter?
Does not follow me on Twitter.
Well, now that you've called him out, I'm sure he will.
I bet he's not going to.
Really?
Anyway, because yeah, I mean, I wouldn't follow me. If I had the chance to follow me on Twitter, I wouldn't.
That's true. Everybody go ahead and unfollow him now.
No, please don't. Please don't encourage them to do that.
I'm doing it right now.
Please don't encourage them to do that. Anyway, match, or at least map on the line, depending on how you quantify this. Some people calling a single map a match, but we'll see. This is a nice angle being held here in Eclipse. Even with the UMP, is able to cut super down. No EE1Ds used at all. 90 seconds remaining in this round. Potentially 90 seconds remaining in this map. And you're not going to have to worry about standing still at all.
Skies gets one onto Gomfi too as he attempts to push up the Cool Vibes stairs, and DarkZero, it looks like they might be able to just lock this one out. Two Soniqs attempting to push up Cool Vibes, but once again, the shotgun from Skies will shut that down, and he'll finish off Slevin with the SMG. Missed C4, but it doesn't matter. Eclipse with the secondary shotgun will end that round, make it a flawless one, and take map number 1.
Hey, not a bad result, is it? No. 7-2? I think I'm taking that, and flawless, of course, is pretty nice as well. So DarkZero is going to take a break, and they're going to go